The night was electric as fans filled every seat in the massive auditorium, buzzing with excitement for the Elvis concert. The air was thick with anticipation, and the sound of murmured chatter mixed with the soft strums of guitars warming up. Bright lights sparkled all around, reflecting off sequined outfits and shining eyes. Many people wore shirts emblazoned with Elvis's face, while others waved homemade signs, eager to catch a glimpse of their rock and roll idol. Among the sea of adoring fans, a small girl stood out in her pale yellow dress, her short blonde hair bouncing with delight as she clutched her older brother's hand. The vibrant atmosphere swirled around her like a dream, filled with laughter, music, and the joyful screams of excited fans. As the moments passed, the lights dimmed slightly, signaling that the show was about to begin. With a sudden burst of energy, the stage lit up brightly, and cheers erupted as Elvis appeared in his signature glittering white jumpsuit. The audience roared, calling out for their king. Caught up in the moment, however, the little girl found herself losing grip on her brother's hand as he melded into the crowd. Before she knew it, she had turned around and realized he was nowhere to be seen. Confusion washed over her tiny face as she stood alone among the throngs of bodies dancing and singing. As the music swelled around her, the little girl remained still, her heart racing. She was just 5 years old, with bright blue eyes that sparkled like the lights above. Her short blonde hair framed her round face, and a few strands danced across her forehead, caught in the excitement of the moment. The pale yellow dress she wore was simple but lovely, swaying gently with every little movement she made. At first, she had been filled with joy while holding her brother's hand tight, their laughter mingling with the crowd's cheers. But now, standing alone, her innocent demeanor began to shift into uncertainty. She looked around, searching for a familiar face in the sea of adults and flashing cameras. A slight quiver formed in her chin as she fought back tears. This place that had felt so magical moments ago now seemed overwhelming. The bright lights spun around her like stars in a dizzying sky, and the loud music turned into a distant thrum in her ears. She hugged herself tightly, wishing for her brother to reappear and take her back to safety. As the crowd sang along to Elvis's energetic performance, they remained blissfully unaware of the small girl who stood on the brink of panic, a tiny figure lost in an ocean of celebration and sound. As the concert roared to life, the crowd surged forward, a wave of fans eager to get closer to the stage. The little girl felt the sudden tug at her hand as her brother slipped away in the rush, drawn into the excitement and energy all around them. For a moment, she didn't realize he had gone. She was too captivated by the vibrant lights and pulsating music. But when she turned, searching for his familiar face, panic set in. The laughter and cheers of the crowd transformed into an overwhelming rush of noise. Standing there in her pale yellow dress, she felt small and lost. Her eyes widened as she scanned the sea of adults, their heads bobbing up and down with the rhythm of Elvis's songs, blocking her view of everything else. A dizzying swirl of colors passed by her. Sequined jackets and waving arms seemed to mock her innocence as confusion washed over her. "Where are you?" she whispered to herself, her voice barely audible over the music. Tears brimmed in her eyes as fear began to creep in, tightening around her heart like a vice. "I want my brother!" she thought desperately. She hugged herself tightly, hoping he would magically appear amidst the swirling dancers. Instead, she stood trembling near the side stage, feeling utterly alone and lost in a world that had once been so joyful. With her heart pounding, the little girl wandered aimlessly near the side stage, her pale yellow dress swaying slightly as she moved. The loud music and cheering fans seemed to close in around her, making her feel even smaller and more vulnerable. Each beat of the drums echoed in her ears, drowning out her thoughts and amplifying her sense of isolation. She brushed away tears that threatened to spill over, trying to steady herself as she glanced up at the bright lights flashing above. Her bright blue eyes scanned the crowd, searching for a glimpse of her brother among the sea of unfamiliar faces. The adults around her laughed and cheered, completely unaware of her distress. She felt like a tiny island surrounded by an ocean of excitement, but for her, the joy had vanished. Instead of the thrill of the concert, all she felt was a deepening sadness and fear. As she stood there, A security guard noticed the teary-eyed girl and approached with a gentle smile. He crouched down to her level, his kind expression offering a glimmer of hope. Still, the girl hesitated, unsure if she should trust this stranger. She wanted to call out for her brother but could only manage a soft whimper. The guard's reassuring presence brought a momentary comfort, yet she still felt lost in a world that had turned so chaotic and overwhelming. As the little girl stood trembling near the side stage, the security guard noticed her teary expression and paused his watchful patrol. He was a tall man with a gentle demeanor, dressed in a crisp uniform that made him look both official and approachable. His eyes softened as he took in the sight of the frightened child, her pale yellow dress contrasting sharply with the dark, bustling crowd around her. Kneeling down to her level, he offered a warm smile that seemed to cut through her fear. "Hey there, little one," he said in a calm voice. "Are you lost?" She nodded slowly, wiping away a tear with the back of her hand as she looked into his kind eyes. Recognizing her distress, he extended his hand toward her gently. "Let's see if we can find your brother together." With hesitance, she placed her small hand in his, feeling comforted by his reassuring grip. As they began to walk slowly toward the exit, he kept his tone light and friendly. "You know, I used to get lost at concerts too. It can feel super scary," he shared, trying to distract her from the noise surrounding them. As they moved away from the chaotic roar of excitement, she felt a small hope beginning to bloom inside her. The guard's presence provided a safe haven amidst the confusion as they carefully navigated through the crowd, working their way towards safety and comfort. As the security guard guided the little girl away from the chaos, the concert continued to pulse with energy and excitement. Fans erupted into cheers with every powerful note sung by Elvis, their faces alight with joy as they immersed themselves in the music. The atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter, singing, and dancing that echoed throughout the auditorium. People swayed to the rhythm, many lost in their own moments of happiness, completely unaware of the child's distress just a few feet away. Bright stage lights flashed in dazzling patterns, illuminating Elvis in his glittering white jumpsuit as he moved effortlessly across the stage, connecting with his enthusiastic audience. In this sea of exuberance, no one noticed the little girl who felt so small and frightened. Her soft whimpers were drowned out by the roaring cheers and applause as Elvis belted out hit after hit. But then, during a particularly heartfelt moment in his performance, Elvis paused mid-song. He spotted the girl's tear-stained face peeking from behind a security guard and sensed something was wrong. Immediately, he signaled for the band to quiet down. The jubilant crowd fell into an expectant hush, confusion etched on their faces as they turned to see what had caught the king's attention. This pivotal moment brought everything to a standstill, an urgent heartbeat amid a lively celebration, and suddenly, all eyes were focused on their beloved performer as he prepared to reach out to the girl in her time of need. Dressed in a striking glittering white jumpsuit that shimmered under the bright stage lights, Elvis exuded charisma and charm as he belted out one of his iconic hits. His hair slicked back and his confident movements captivated the audience, who sang along, lost in the joy of the performance. The energy in the auditorium was palpable, with fans swept away in the music's rhythm. However, mid-song, something caught his eye, a brief glimpse of a small figure near the side stage. He squinted through the glaring lights and saw the little girl with short blonde hair and a pale yellow dress standing there, her teary eyes wide with fear. In that instant, a wave of urgency washed over him. This was not just another performance anymore. Without thinking twice, he abruptly halted his singing, causing an immediate hush to fall over the crowd. The cheers faded into a stunned silence as he signaled for the band to quiet down. Elvis's expression shifted from playful entertainer to genuine concern as he leaned slightly forward, scanning the audience for a response. "Is there someone who knows this little girl?" he asked urgently, his voice resonating with compassion and authority. The usual thrill of the concert shifted into tension as everyone turned their attention toward the child. Fans began whispering among themselves, realizing something significant was unfolding before their eyes. Elvis knew time was of the essence. He needed to help her right away. The auditorium, once alive with cheers and the reverberating rhythm of Elvis's music, fell silent as the king of rock and roll signaled for the band to stop. Fans held their breath, their excitement replaced by a deep sense of concern as Elvis stepped forward, his expression serious and full of heartfelt worry. The bright stage lights illuminated his glimmering white jumpsuit, but it was his intense gaze that caught everyone's attention. "Hey, folks!" he called out, his voice resonating through the hushed crowd. "I see a little girl over there who looks lost and scared." His words were filled with genuine compassion, cutting through the lingering notes of his last song. The audience shifted uneasily, glancing around as if they could somehow locate her brother by sheer will. Elvis continued, his tone urgent yet soothing. "If anyone knows this child or her family, please help her find them." His heart swelled with concern for the girl, captivated by her vulnerability in such an overwhelming setting. He made no effort to conceal his worry. It was evident that he would do anything to ensure her safety. As he looked out into the sea of faces, he momentarily forgot about the applause and adoration that usually fueled him. In that pivotal moment, he was not just a performer. He was a protector, ready to step off the stage to help a frightened little girl find her way back home. The crowd felt the shift in energy, uniting in their collective hope that someone would answer his call. The auditorium, which had been filled with vibrant energy just moments before, now hung heavily in silence as Elvis stood on stage, his gaze fixed intently on the little girl. The tension was palpable. Fans exchanged worried glances, unsure of what to do. Elvis's voice cut through the stillness once more, firm yet tinged with urgency. "If anyone knows this little girl or her family, please step forward." As he spoke, a collective breath seemed to fill the venue, a moment suspended in time. Each heartbeat echoed louder than the last as the audience absorbed the weight of his request. The usual cheers and claps were replaced by an anxious stillness. Some audience members shifted nervously in their seats while others craned their necks to get a better look. Elvis's expression was one of deep concern. He scanned the crowd for any sign of recognition, his intense eyes searching faces, hoping for someone to acknowledge the girl's plight. The bright lights that had illuminated him began to feel almost oppressive, casting shadows over the worried crowd. "Come on, folks!" he encouraged, his voice warm but urgent. "Let's help her find her family." The anxiety in the air thickened as no one stepped forward immediately. It felt as if everyone was holding their breath, hoping that someone would answer the call and restore safety to this frightened child. In that moment, time stood still, emphasizing the importance of connection and community in a world that could sometimes feel chaotic and overwhelming. With the crowd still in a hush, Elvis's heart raced, fueled by a deep sense of urgency and compassion for the lost little girl. He could not stand there waiting for someone else to step forward. With determination etched on his face, he made a bold decision: he would leave the stage himself. The moment he stepped away from the microphone, a ripple of surprise washed through the audience. They watched in awe as their idol, usually so larger than life while belting out songs, now approached the edge of the stage with a genuine purpose. The bright lights that once felt like a spotlight now illuminated his kind demeanor, an unwavering commitment to help the frightened child. "Don't worry, sweetheart," he called gently toward the girl and the security guard escorting her. "I'm coming down." As he descended the steps, his voice resonated with warmth, easing the tension that had gripped the venue moments before. Elvis moved with grace, each step carrying him closer to her as fans silently cheered, some even rising from their seats in support of this unexpected act of kindness. The atmosphere shifted again, this time filled with admiration for him not just as a performer but as a caring human being who understood what it meant to feel fear and vulnerability. He reached the ground and knelt closer to her level, offering an assuring smile. In that instant, he was no longer simply the king of rock and roll. He had become a beacon of hope for a small child in need, a reminder that compassion could shine brightly even in moments of chaos. As Elvis knelt down to the little girl's level, his warm smile seemed to light up her tear-streaked face. "Hey there, sweetheart," he said gently, his voice soothing and full of compassion. "I see you're feeling a bit scared right now, but I promise you're safe with me." Her bright blue eyes looked up at him, filled with uncertainty but also a spark of hope. Elvis reached out, brushing a few stray strands of blonde hair away from her forehead. "You're not alone anymore," he continued softly. "We're going to find your brother together. Can you tell me your name?" "My name is Lily," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the distant sounds of the concert still buzzing in the background. "Lily! What a beautiful name!" he exclaimed, making her giggle despite her worry. "Now, let's take a deep breath together." He demonstrated with exaggerated motions, inhaling deeply and then exhaling slowly. She followed suit, feeling the tension in her tiny body start to ease a little. Elvis remained close, his presence reassuring as he said, "You know what? Everyone here wants to help you. We'll make sure you get back to your family in no time." His heartfelt words wrapped around her like a warm blanket, and for the first time since losing her brother, she felt a flicker of comfort amid the chaos. "Are you ready?" he asked with a twinkle in his eye. Lily nodded slowly, emboldened by his kindness and determination to help her feel safe. As Elvis knelt beside Lily, the audience watched this heartwarming exchange unfold, their collective breath held in anticipation. The atmosphere shifted from anxious concern to a powerful sense of admiration, capturing the raw emotion of the moment. Fans exchanged glances filled with appreciation, their hearts swelling as they witnessed the king of rock and roll prioritize a child's safety over his performance. Slowly, soft murmurs of support began to ripple through the crowd. People leaned forward, eager to help and united in their commitment to see Lily reunited with her family. The warmth of compassion began to flow through the auditorium, transforming an initially tense situation into one of solidarity and community spirit. As Elvis continued to reassure Lily that everything would be all right and that they would find her brother soon, applause erupted from the crowd. It wasn't just applause for his music but a heartfelt response to his incredible kindness. The audience cheered and clapped, showing their deep respect for the singer's humility and genuine concern for a lost child. In that moment, it was clear that this concert had shifted from a mere musical performance to a touching reminder of humanity's capacity for compassion. Throughout the venue, fans felt inspired by Elvis's benevolence, solidifying their admiration not just for him as an artist, but as a caring individual willing to step up when it mattered most. The love and support enveloped Lily like a warm blanket, letting her know she was far from alone. Everyone was there for her. In the days following the concert, news of Elvis's heroic act spread like wildfire across the country. Headlines proclaimed him a true hero, highlighting not just his musical talent but also his heartfelt compassion for a frightened little girl. Stories emerged in newspapers and on television, showcasing how he paused a packed concert to ensure Lily felt safe, transforming a moment of panic into one of warmth and community. Social media erupted with posts celebrating his kindness, as people shared videos and photos from that pivotal night, praising Elvis for prioritizing a child's well-being over the show. Fans from around the nation began to reflect on the importance of compassion, drawing inspiration from his actions. Community organizations and local leaders took notice too, using this moment to emphasize the need for caring for one another in times of distress. They organized events to promote kindness and support for children in similar situations, further linking Elvis's name with themes of love and unity. The incident became a rallying cry for compassion, illustrating how a single act of kindness could ripple through society. As fans celebrated Elvis, they didn't just remember him as the king of rock and roll, but as a symbol of hope, a reminder that in moments of chaos, the power of community and empathy can shine through. Lily, now safe with her family, became part of this story. Her experience served to inspire many, showing that even in the most unexpected circumstances, there is always room for love and support.